Combat shotguns are based. From the Benelli M4 to the Saiga-12, or even the mythical AA-12. Actually just met him the other day. Cool guy. Point being, for the last half a century, we've been trying to take shotguns and assault rifles and make them kith. And one of the more rare varieties of those attempts is this bad bitch right here, the USAS-12. Or the USAS-12, if you're not fun at parties. Whether you know it from Call of Duty, Battlefield, or just the Shotgun News catalog from 10 years ago, this is a legendary combat shotgun. And today, we're gonna play with it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually my first time ever shooting a USAS-12. Not gonna lie, I was kind of worried, never meet your heroes, but I will say so far, I don't hate it. Before we get started into this, I just wanted to take a quick moment and inform those of you who didn't know that Paul Herrera has now lost the battle with cancer. For those who don't know, Paul was an OG gun tuber. He's been doing this, longer than I have. He impacted millions of lives, and I think he genuinely made the gun community a better place. I'm very thankful to all of you who helped me and a few other GunTube friends get Paul over the 1 million mark so that before he passed, he could get his 1 million subscriber play button as just kind of a token to how much the gun community appreciated his contributions. I think that was really cool. God bless you, Paul, and I hope they've got Pop-Tarts in heaven.
Man, I blew that thing to bits! Woo!
So ladies and gentlemen, the USAS-12, 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun. But somehow, even though it's semi-automatic, you as a civilian are gonna have a very hard time buying one. Now why is that? Is it because they're rare? Well, partially. It's not just that. These, for reasons that we will get into later, are considered destructive devices by the ATF. One of the only shotguns I know of, in fact, that are outside of maybe, I think, the Street Sweeper. Yeah, that's right. In order for a civilian to own one of these things, you need to fill out paperwork as if you were buying a fucking grenade launcher. Fuck it, I won't talk about that later. I'm gonna talk about that right now. You can thank Daddy Bush for that. You see, under Daddy Bush, you remember the director of the CIA who was promoted after he was responsible for Kennedy's detail when he was shot in Dallas? All right, that got really schizo, but I promise that's true. During his presidency from 1988 to 1992, a regulation was passed where anything coming into the country had to prove a sporting purpose. You couldn't just import an assaulty weapon, which is why a lot of things coming into the country, like, the Saigas and things like that, are sporterized, where the evil assault weapon features are taken off of them. Due to the nature of this gun, they couldn't really do that, so this was considered one of the ones that didn't have a sporting purpose, even though it functions identical to every other semi-automatic shotgun on the planet. It just has a pistol grip, meaning it's evil. So when the USAS came up on the chopping block, the Secretary of the Treasury, Lloyd Benson, decided that this gun served no sporting purpose and that it would be regulated as a destructive device from there on. So fuck you, Lloyd. You're still dead and I still have a USAS.
Look what I got. Whoa.
Whoa!
Yeah, a USAS-12.
This was not helped by Bill Clinton, who instituted the assault weapons ban in 1994, which even further cracked down on things like this. So yes, you can also blame Bill Clinton. He did not kill Kennedy, I think, but USAS-12 is a semi-automatic shotgun, unless it was designed by an American, but was produced by Daewoo Korea. You may also know Daewoo from, the car manufacturer, or the gun used in every anime ever. This was supposed to be something along the lines of the AA-12, where you have a magazine-fed 12-gauge shotgun with minimal recoil, which I think this actually accomplishes fairly well. I was surprised by how light the recoil was. Despite being designed in the 80s, it has some features that I think are ahead of its time. With it being basically fully ambidextrous. The charging handle can swap sides, the dust cover can swap sides, and it has an ambi safety selector. It also features an M16 style carry handle, or as the FAMAS would call it, a
Surrender handle.
That is part of this one-piece cast iron receiver, which reminds me of a lot of rough castings I've seen. Or, a skillet. Has 10-round stick magazines and 20-round drums. Meaning, no shit this time, YouTube, we are compliant. You a flats guy or a drums guy? Let me know down in the comments. ADD break. On today's White Claw penetration test, we are taking the video game Scattergat and taking it to a delicious, refreshing alcoholic beverage at 1,200 feet per second. In the words of the last man to wave goodbye to the Titanic, I'm sure they'll be fine. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Out of there. "60% of the time, it works every time." God, when it comes to absolute carnage on target, accept no substitutes to the 12-gauge shotgun. Its destruction rivals that of being hit by a car, or like a mild divorce. In other news, Tacpack. Tacpack is a monthly tactical subscription box that can get you cool shit like pistol grips, a boonie hat, Grand Thumb intensifies, AR-15 charging handles, cool tactical swag. Not Zilla. Alright, that's pretty clever. And this box came stocked and locked with Mantis dry fire systems, as well as tactical lights and Kershaw knives. And new subscribers can use the code AKGUY to get a free box of tactical gear worth at least $60. So you can check them out using the links down in the description and in the pinned comment. We appreciate Tacpack. Back to the video. So how does the USAS-12 work? Well, first off, let's do manual of arms. So yeah, just like an AR, you got a little push button mag release here, and then you can pull your magazine out the bottom. So as you see here, we got a little bit of a track that is matched on the magazine, on the back of the mag. While inserting the magazine, you just kind of line those up and it rides into the slot. Safety, like we addressed, is an ambi, so it's just like an AR, but you just have safe and fire. Charging handle. Got up here, just pull this back, let it go, and it goes forward. There's no last round bolt hold open, but you can hold the bolt open by pulling the charging handle back and pushing it into that little groove. There's like a little circular slot here in the polymer handguard. And then to let that go, just pull that out, and she goes back forward. Dust cover here, you can close that during transit, just like an AR-15. Will pop open when you charge the weapon or fire it. Got peephole sights here in the back of the carry handle, which line up with a hooded front iron sight at the front on the gas block. Congratulations, if you tactically acquire a USAS, now you can use it.
Where'd you get that? Picked it up off of some dead guy.
Real quick cool bit, this is the 20-round drum magazine for the USAS. All of this is original except the backplate. See, a lot of the polymers from the 80s didn't exactly age well, so when we got ours, it was cracked and we didn't really feel like using it. So we were able to actually take all the measurements from it and print our own. So the drum footage you saw earlier was all using a printed backplate. Which is really cool, like even the grooves where it's inserted into the gun are all printed. Just a really cool example of what I think is like practical application of printing in firearms technology. I think it's really neat. And if you also think about firearms technology as much as I do, you might want to check out SDI.edu to get your start in weapons technology and or gunsmithing. Now for disassembly and reassembly, this one's a fucking curveball. Looking at this gun, how would you think you took this apart? Maybe where the normal pins are in an AR-15. They've got little screw heads here. That might be how you disassemble. Maybe these screws here on the back of the stock. You can, pull the rear stock off and then pull everything out the back, right? No, the disassembly mechanism starts with the gas block, Herrera. So we take this little knurled knob up here and we start unlocking it. And you can hear it ratcheting out. And once we get it out, we lose it, because that's what we do here. The stock then comes out the back of the gun. And here we have basically the op rod for the entire weapon system. This is where that knob knurls onto, and this is what, this is the main recoil spring. This is what runs the entire weapon, which to be honest is pretty clever, because this receiver is made of very cheap cast pot metal. So the least stress you could put on this receiver, the better. But now that there's nothing tensioning that together, we can just kind of push forward on this end. And now we have our barrel assembly right here. We can then pop these screws here, take it out the back, take this out of the other side, screw the front. And now we can take our fire control module off. Our bolt carrier freely falls out the back. And now you can see the inner workings of the shotgun. Fairly unique in the way that this does its gas operation, I might say. You also get a unique appreciation of just how simple this thing is. I feel like I can melt down a bunch of soda cans and just cast this in my backyard. Anyway, we'll put this back together. Go, get your ass back on there. Take our operating rod, or whatever you call it. Sorry, old girl. Put our cap back on. Starts to ratchet the gun together. Front pin, rear pin, and that's threaded back on. And we have a complete USAS again. Ooh, time to do some sketchy shit. So this right here is 12 gauge ammo that is, well, let me back up. The USAS-12 and exploding shotgun rounds known as FRAS-12 ammo go together like peas and carrots, or your mom and fucking the milkman. The point is, people tend to associate the two. Now, while I do have access to a lot of really cool shit you've seen on the channel, and I do have all the licenses to obtain some pretty exotic shit, at the end of the day, I'm just a dude. I'm not a law enforcement agency or a military entity, so I can't get my hands on FRAS-12 ammo. But what I can get my hands on is the first sketchy exploding shotgun ammo that was presented to me on Google. I don't know what it does, and I've never shot it. So we're gonna test it out to make sure that I don't have to, you know, do the thing, especially with this semi-auto cast receiver shotgun. That's fucking my life choices, man. I better have good life insurance. We're gonna test to see what it does. We're gonna test to see if it even cycles, and then we're gonna test it against some body armor. God, I'm sketched out by this. Where's the nearest hospital? Do you actually know? Testing the exploding shotgun ammo. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that didn't seem to do a whole lot, and thankfully I'm still intact. It did cycle though. Let's try 2 more. It's a nice little plume of smoke. I don't know, let's try it against some steel. Really not getting a whole explosive vibe off of these, to be honest. All right, so for contrast, just to see if this explosive ammo actually has some power to it, we've got a regular shell 12 gauge that we've been using this whole time. We're gonna shoot this vest, see what we can see, and then afterwards we're gonna shoot it with the exploding ammo and see just what kind of damage it does. This vest is soft level 3A armor, so it's meant to stop like handgun rounds and whatnot. Standard 12 gauge ammo. 3, 2, 1. Peppered them pretty good. You can feel the bumps there, but on the other side, no penetration. Relatable for some of you. Now let's try our supposed explosive ammo. In 3, 2, 1. I definitely hit a lot harder. Let's go check it out. All right. That actually did have a little bit of a pop to it. It's also really hot, obviously, dipshit. You see some of the Kevlar is actually flayed out. Some of the fabric inside of this thing. Okay, actually. You can see it carved a pretty good hole through the armor. It actually fucked up that fabric really good. But on the backside, I can't see anywhere where it physically ripped all the way through. Although it did rip the fabric, still didn't quite penetrate, although I have a pretty good suspicion that you would not be feeling particularly good. So is the exploding shotgun ammo I bought actually exploding? Kinda. Man, absolutely fucking stacking kills on Metro with this thing. Anyway, guys, this was the USAS-12. Final thoughts? It's aight.
This gun is the best thing that ever's happened to me.
It's definitely a product of its time, some reliability issues, but man, these things are just so cool because you never fucking see them. Very few collectors actually have one of these, and so I'm excited to add this to the reference library. Anyhow, it feels good to be out here doing range videos again. I can't wait till it gets a little cooler. Texas is finally starting to chill out, but more range content coming for you guys soon. I appreciate you staying all the way to the end of the video, and as always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers next time I come out here and feel like filming. Thanks, guys. You're welcome for that on the mic.